This is Princey Seats channel, your preferred channel for most current and detailed content and information needed. You are welcome. If you are new, kindly subscribe and press the notification button for onward information. Good news update. Pay attention to this note on newest update about the sharing formula.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barrister Walter Oga. Today is the second day of February 2024. The 2nd of February 2024. And I deem it fit to also speak to the grant ecosystem generally. I have been in the grant ecosystem for about 6 years or so. Some ministers of God, some pastors introduced me into the grant ecosystem not too far, not too long, as far back as 2019. But when they came to my office, by then they were talking about SEM and some other grants that they were floating as at that time. I didn't quite understand them. What do they mean by money is coming to be shared to so many people? They came once or twice, and reluctantly, I joined them. I started following them little by little. Otherwise, before now, I was facing my private legal practice strictly. For those of you who doesn't know me very well, I'm a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, practicing for the past 16 years. I didn't just start practicing yesterday. And secondly, as a lawyer, and the way we are trained, we are not trained to make noise. We are trained to follow instructions from our clients. And that is why we normally love operating only from the background. We operate only on the ground. But at this point in time, in the life of our nation, Nigeria, and in the history of the grant ecosystem, I deem it fit to also speak and add my voice. I also try to straighten some things, correct some wrong impressions that have been thrown out into the public for the past few days. Now, the first thing I want to comment upon is the VN of Ustad Dawood. In that VN, Ustad Dawood said a lot of things. And one of the things he said is that Apostle Ken's name was never in any document, but that having gone very far, they cannot come out later in the night and start telling people that his name is not there, that they will look very stupid or foolish. Is that not a contradiction? Is that not a contradiction? And part of what he also said is that his name was never there, but they were the one that made him the mandate. If I got him correctly, they were the one that allowed him to be the mandate. Well, I don't know where they got the powers from, or they have the powers to make Apostle Ken the mandate of the UAAG grant. Now, one thing I know is that if somebody seldom speak, if somebody is quite and gentle, if somebody it doesn't always come out to the public to say some things, let us not be using it against that fellow. We may want to take it as a weakness, but let us not be using it against the fellow. Another thing that Ustad Dawood said is that the so-called schedule contains a lot of NGOs that were multiplied, multiplicity of angels, and so on and so forth. But the issue is, if the schedule is handed over to them, is given to them to prepare, to take to the bank or to the appropriate authorities for payment, will they do any better? Will they fare any better as members of the AGPN? They are my friends, so I'm not fighting with them, I'm not quarreling them, but I need to put some facts straight. I have worked for them too, and I'm still working for them in certain instances on certain issues. But I think it's high time I called a spade a spade. What you have to know is that if you have crowned somebody king, if you have made somebody to be king, then allow the king to work. You cannot crown somebody a king and also try to dictate to that king how he should be doing his work. Thirdly, I want us to know that the delay, what is playing out right now, is all about interest. It's all about interest. And the interest of the AGPGN has to a large extent delayed the disbursement of this grant. If you didn't hear me very well, I'm going to repeat it. The interest of the AGPGN guys has to a larger extent delayed the disbursement of this grant. You can take that to the bank any day, anytime, anywhere. For the fact that we know some things and we don't want to come out to the public to be talking, we have decided not to join the bandwagon of social media bandits, does not mean that we don't know what we are or we don't know what we can do. And this is aside the fact that the AGPGN guys, yes, they have labored so much. They have given their time, they spend their resources. And that's why they can lay claim to certain interests. But should the interests of certain group of persons or should the interests of an individual be allowed to overcome or to overshadow or to supersede the interests of the generality of the suffering masses of Nigerians? Now, if you don't know, a certain percentage of this grant has been earmarked for the AGPGN guys. Kudos to them. And if I got my fact right, about 20% of this fund has been set aside for them. 20% is not a child's play. If, for instance, it is 10 trillion, if the grant is worth 10 trillion naira, then means that 2 trillion naira is going to them. Is 2 trillion naira a joke? Is 2 trillion naira a child's play? It is not at all. So it will not be proper that after your interest is captured and yet you still want some more. That will not be fair enough. Now, in that VN, Ustad Dawood had accused the country director that he has a multiplicity, or rather, let me use his terms, that Sanctuary has a lot of subsidiary, over 1,000 plus as the case may be. Now, if that is the case, let us put it this way. If this current situation is reversed and it is said that the AGPN guys should be the one that will disburse this grant, will they fare any better? Are they going to fare any better? Are they going to tell us that they will also not include their own interest in the disbursement of this grant? Now, this is apart from the 20% that is coming or so or more that is coming to the AGPGN. Among the thousands of NGOs that registered that came for verification, they also have their subsidiaries, their proxies among these NGOs. So why should the interests of a few groups try to override the interests of Nigerians, of the suffering masses? Ladies and gentlemen, men and brethren, is this fair enough? This is Barrister Oga speaking. Fourthly, I want to talk about the role and effort of the think tank team. The role and effort of the think tank team. It's unfortunate that I heard Chief Akogun saying that the think tank came to scatter so many things, blaming Pastor B for coming to scatter so many things. Please, can anybody there listening to my voice this second day of February 2024 tell me what Pastor B and his think tank team has scattered or the problem he has caused? Is it not the think tank team that brought over 4,000 NGOs under one roof? Before the think tank team came on board, under the leadership of Pastor B Wagbo, the CEOs were never galvanized or brought together under one roof, under one umbrella. But today, There's a particular platform that if you want to get the CEOs, you will just drop a message on that platform and it will reach almost all of them. Today, there's a particular platform that anytime the CEO want to speak to sensible and reasonable Nigerians, it comes to that platform and addresses. Is this not good enough? Is this not a good thing that was done, that was carried out by the think tank team under the leadership of Pastor Obi Nwagbo? You can keep the answers to yourselves. Secondly, again, I know how far, as a lawyer, I am speaking from the bar. And when the lawyer tells you he's speaking for the bar, it means he's telling the truth. I know how far, sometimes last year, before verification was done, I, Comrade Abdul, Comrade KBB, and one Dr. Grace, a member of the National Council of UAG, I know how we were going about trying to raise money for verification purposes. I know how we spent money trying to get collateral to raise money for the purpose of crime verification. As a member of the think tank, we were also involved in trying to raise this fund. We never wanted to go out. We tarried on that decision for almost a month plus. We never wanted to go out to the public to raise money from the CEOs. But when all efforts to raise money through collateral and from money lenders failed, we had to resort back to raising money from the CEOs. Some give 100,000, 200,000. Today, it is history. Was it not the effort of the think tank? We had so many members of the National Council that were there, surrounding surrounding the CD, Apostle King Wakama, but none of them knew how they could go about raising this money. On the very day that the issue of raising money for the purpose of verification came, when that day came, nobody in the hall could say anything until Pastor B stepped in, and right on that spot, hundreds of millions were raised that were used for that verification purpose and for the purpose of security. Now, so many of us can just sit down in our homes and churn out rubbish into the general public without even knowing the efforts that the think tank. Do you people know that the think tank was able to secure 2 court orders? When verification was going on, I was running helter-skelter around the city of Abuja from one court to the other. I got the first order restraining all the evil people that have been fighting against this grant, the Jehoshaphat camp and the others, restraining them from interfering with the verification process. Do you know that they wanted to stop it? And immediately the verification came to an end, I went back to court again, got another court order preventing them from interfering with the disbursement process. That court order, as I talk to you, is still subsisting. And then somebody will wake up from somewhere, sit down, and then say that the think tank team is trying to cause problem, cause confusion in the grant community or in the grant ecosystem. Now, let me tell us, do you know, or do we know, ladies and gentlemen, men and brethren, that it was a ploy to discredit, or rather the so-called disbandment of think tank was a coup. It was a palace coup. And this coup was carried out in conjunction with members of the AGPGN and some cronies around the country director. I repeat that the coup was carried out by members of the AGPGN in conjunction with some persons around the country director, simply because of their interest. And that is what is playing out right now, delaying this grant that all of us are seeing. That's what is playing out right now. They misled the CD. They told him a lot of terrible things. They told him a lot of lies and lured him into disbanding the think tank. But ladies and gentlemen, men and brethren, I've come to announce to you that the think tank team is back, stronger and better. As I speak to you now, the think tank team has been registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Nobody can disband it. It was registered in December 2023, but decided to keep quiet until the right time. We think this is the right time to come out to tell you that the think tank team is officially registered in Nigeria under the laws of this or the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and nothing can stop their operations. Let me go further. Now, I want us to know the cause of the delay in this grant. And do you know, as I said on that, these funds would have been disbursed in December 2023. But the AGPN guys, in conjunction with some person, felt their interests were not well covered, and that disbursement was truncated. And you also know that even the first verification exercise that was cancelled was still the AGPN guys, in conjunction with some wolves in sheep clothing around the CD, were the cause of that. That they were the ones who made the CD to suspend that verification. But thank God it has come and gone. So they are the cause of the delay. And let me give us a shocker. Men and brethren, ladies and gentlemen, do you know that a few days ago, or even last week, these funds should have been disbursed? The AGP again came up with their interest. The first thing was that 20% or so is not enough. They should also be made signatories to the account. And do you know, men and brethren, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Nigerians, ordinary beneficiaries, that the AGPN have been made signatory to 3 accounts through which these funds will be domiciled. 3 accounts. And so just for the past few days, a schedule was prepared to be taken to the source through which these funds will come. The country director signed, and it was sent to the AGPN signatories to sign. They refused signing, and they went into thin air. People were calling from all quarters. Even the government officials were calling. Where is the document? We are waiting for the schedule. They refused signing it. This is after they've been given 20% that they will spend in the manner and way in which they feel like spending. It may be more, it may be less, plus or minus 20%. Will be given to a few individuals. Yes, they have worked, they have labored. The laborer deserves his wage. But the laborer should not think that his wages are more than those of the master and other people. The young men were nowhere to be found. They refused signing the schedule. They now went rather to go and prepare their own schedule to send back. That is what they want to be. That is how they want the money to be disbursed. It cannot happen that way. It cannot happen that way. When you have enthroned a king, allow the king to walk. So when some persons come into the public to say some things, it is not that we don't know how to talk. And it is not that because we are lying low, we should be taken for a fool. They are the cause of the delay. Even the government officials became embarrassed. That why is that we have sent this young man that said they want disbursement, we have prepared this thing, the contractor have signed, it has been sent to them for them to sign. All calls that was put across to them were not returned, and they didn't pick. I am saying this thing not to spite anybody. I'm saying this thing not to make anybody look stupid or foolish. I'm saying these things based on the information available to me and how far we have gone, even with the CD and with the think tank team, in addition to other stakeholders that have claims to this grant. So what I am saying in summary is that we cannot and we should not allow the interest of a few person, of a personal of an individual to override the interest of Nigerians. It's unfortunate I heard Chief Akogun. We have respected him so much, but he should think before he talks. He cannot come out and start accusing Pastor B. Do you know that Pastor B spent Christmas in Abuja here? He's still where he is, spending money. As we are talking to, his dead mother is still in the hospital, yet in the mortuary, yet to be buried. Another member of the think tank also lost her mother, Elizabeth. She's also still, the body is also still in the mortuary, yet to be buried. And then some persons will sit down and say that the think tank is the cause of the problem. Men and brethren, let us look at this thing fairly and in a just and equitable manner. Who is the cause of problem in this thing? Does the think tank have any document of a grant? The think tank doesn't have. Is the think tank signatory to any account? The think tank is not a signatory to any account. Is the think tank the ones that are going to disburse the money? They are not the ones. The CD is part of it. The AGPGN guys are part of it. So why are they not allowing this fund to be disbursed to the millions suffering masses? out there. I don't want this VN to be longer than this. I come in peace and I pray that will allow reason, good sense, responsibility to prevail. Thank you very much and God bless. This is Barrister Oga.